Hello, welcome back to Jack's Tech Corner. What I'm going to introduce you to today is actually installing Ubuntu Linux onto your computer. Now, a lot of people say, Jack, what is Ubuntu Linux? Well, if you're not really sure, go ahead and look it up on the internet. Just do a search for Ubuntu. U-B-U-N-T-U. It's just an operating system. It's absolutely free, and you're not going to get any viruses at all on your computer running Ubuntu Linux. Now, it's a virus-free operating system, much like using a Mac. But you will be able to do everything you normally do, and I'm going to show you how to actually install it and set it up to look like Windows XP. But what you're not going to get is, you're not going to have the trouble with viruses and spyware you get on the internet. So what I did was I put the CD, which I'm going to do a tutorial on how to burn an ISO image. I took that ISO image, put it onto a CD, and I'm just going to boot from that and install it onto the computer, and I wanted to walk you through that install. We'll go ahead and fire up the computer. And then you'll see on the screen here as you see here, it says Ubuntu Linux. This walkthrough and this install is so easy. And what we're going to do is wipe the entire hard drive out. This computer is riddled with viruses. It has Windows XP on it right now. So I talked to the client that wanted the computer, so we're going to wipe it out and we're going to actually install Ubuntu on it. So I just press enter here on the language, whichever language you may want it to run in. Then we use the arrow keys and we're going to go install Ubuntu. I just arrow down to that, then hit enter. Now once this gets started, there's just a brief 6 questions that you have to answer. And then the install will go ahead and take off once we get those questions actually answered. Hopefully this turns out okay. I'm recording this obviously with a camcorder, which is not the way I usually do my YouTube videos. You know, most of the time it's actually screencasting. But you know, when you do an install, this is how I actually filmed the Windows 7 install. So I thought I'd do some Ubuntu for you. And I did actually install this last night onto a Toshiba laptop. The wireless was a little bit of a chore. It's probably not for the weak at heart to put on a laptop. You know, getting the wireless drivers sometimes is a little bit of a chore. It can be done. You just have to stick with it. What we're going to do now is, if you can see, we're going to mouse down here to where it says forward. And we're just going to click on that. Set your time zone. Click OK on that one. Suggested option up here, it says USA. That's good enough. Unless you're from another country, then obviously you can change that. Ubuntu is used worldwide, folks, so it's really a very slick operating system. And like I said, it's written by people all over the world. People contribute to this. It's called open source software. And I've done a few videos on open source. What that is, it's free software, where the code is completely open, where you could actually take this operating system, if you want to try your hand at some programming, you can actually change the programming on it. This is what's known as the partitioner. Now what a partitioner does, if you watch my Windows 7 video, it takes the hard drive and you can partition it or cut your hard drive up into pieces. And we do that basically for the reason of installing operating systems. You may want multiple operating systems on one computer, or if you followed my Windows 7 video, what I like to do a lot of times is actually put the operating system on a smaller partition. Then I call my other partition data, and I store all my pictures and everything there. The reason that is, if your computer ever gets a virus or something happens, it's very, very easy to reload the operating system without touching all of your stored data, and it's a very nice way to do it. Now with Ubuntu, the way I do Ubuntu is I normally just erase the whole entire hard disk. So you see here it has Windows XP on it. It looks like about a 200 and probably a 230 gigabyte drive, somewhere around there total. We're going to click right here, erase the entire hard disk, and then we'll just go forward. Now we're going to put a name in here. I'm just going to put in here Mom, because it's a mother's computer, so we'll just put Mom. That's probably good enough. Password in here, you can make this anything you really want to make it. I try to make it as easy as possible. We're just going to make it the same. I'm just going to make it Mom again. And then what I like to check right here is log in automatically. That way the computer does not ask you for a password every time it boots up. But what that password is actually used for is every time you go to install software or make a change to the operating system itself, it's going to say, whoa, what's the password? And what that does, it protects the operating system with that layer of security. So we're going to put Mom on there, hit forward. It's going to give you a warning, hey, this password is not really a strong password. I'm going to continue. You know, it's a basic home computer, so it's not a big deal. And at this point it says, hey, everything's good to go. Are you ready to install? Let's go down here and click on install in the bottom right hand corner. And at this part it's going to go ahead and partition the hard drive, and then it's going to walk through and start the install. And I'm not going to bore you with sitting here and watching these lines go across. We'll pick this video back up when I start to actually work on setting it up. I like to set it up to look like Windows XP, and I'll show you that. That way it has a look and feel of something you're very familiar with, Windows XP. I'm sorry right now I haven't found any themes out there, and if you know of a theme for Windows 7, it's very easy to install in Ubuntu. Hey, drop me an email, let me know that. I would like to hear from you, because I've loaded this on a lot of home computers for people because it is so secure, and it works very, very well, and it's going to save them from getting viruses and problems down the road. So let's go ahead and pause this video right now, and we'll jump back in when we go to do some customization of the operating system itself. So I'll see you back here soon. I did just want to throw this in there. Once the partitioning is done, that 5%, it will sit there at 5% for a little bit of time. Don't be worried about it. It's just partitioning your hard drive, or setting it up, getting Ubuntu Linux ready to install. At that point, you're going to see here it's just going across. We'll try to zoom in just a little bit more here. It's just going across at this point, and it's actually installing the system onto your computer. It's installing the operating system onto your hard drive. So that's what it's doing here. And I'll just show you here. I'll run about a minute of tape here and on the camcorder, and then we'll pause it, and I'll come back and show you some configuration. If you want to read these slides as they fly by there when you're installing, you can do that. And folks, you can run Ubuntu. You can run it just off the CD. It's called a live CD. So you can play with it and say, hey, Jack, I kind of like this, or hey, Jack, this is crap. I don't understand it. I don't like it. Definitely no sweat off my back, so to speak, I guess. So you can run Ubuntu off the CD itself. You can also, if you just put the Ubuntu CD in with your Windows, it's really cool, because what will happen is it'll make what's called a dual partition, or a dual boot for you. And Ubuntu actually runs just as an application on your Windows computer. So your computer itself is still very vulnerable to viruses and spyware. But you can double click it, and what that allows you to do is kind of play with Ubuntu and kind of learn it a little bit, and be able to work with it and, you know, experiment, I guess, a little bit until you get used to it. and then you can reload your entire computer. At this point now, Ubuntu is saying, hey, everything's loaded up, it looks pretty good, we're going to restart now. So let's go ahead and click on restart. We're going to actually restart it here. It kicks out the CD and it tells you remove the disk. So we remove the disk out of the CD drive. I do have that. I'll lay that to the side. And then what we got to do is hit enter. So we're going to hit enter here and we're going to reboot into our Ubuntu Linux, our fresh install. As you can see, this is an HP. I've loaded this on Dell's, HP's, Compaq's, Toshiba's, Acer, pretty much any computer you can think of I've actually installed this on. Then at this part you get the nice little Ubuntu logo here running up here. Try to once again center this up a little bit. It's back out. Then at that part, what we have is we actually have a full install here of Ubuntu. I already plugged in my network cable, so I have it on the network. It's wired. It's called Auto ETH0. That might be a little techie term for some people there. Under the applications, and we'll look at these here in the future. I'm hoping to do some actual screencasting with Ubuntu. I have to figure that out to help you out a little bit more. But if you look here under accessories, it gives you all this free stuff. You know, calculators, normal. If you go down here, editors, you can take a screenshot. Tommy Notes, just to take desktop notes. It does give you a ton of free games. Now here's something to think about though, folks. If your kids use those little Windows-based games, like you go to your department store and you buy something, that game's not going to just install on this operating system. You're not going to be able to come home and stick it on there. So that's good and bad. But I guess the bad side is, you know, you'll have to do some searching for games, and I'm going to show you some websites here where you can find free games for the kids that I think you'll really enjoy, or they'll enjoy more than anything. And they will load up on here, so you will have entertainment. Graphics program, it comes with free F-Spot Photo Manager. You know, I do a lot of photo tutorials. This is used to import your photos from your camera. GIMP image editor, which looks almost exactly, or works more or less exactly like Photoshop. The full version of Photoshop is GIMP. We do use this in our school, and you can see here, you know, where you can do file, new file. Just click OK, and you can see it gives you a layout, so you can actually work just like Photoshop. It's got all the tools in there and everything you would need. Let's just quit that. What I like about this for kids, we put this on our laptops here at the house, so the kids don't get any viruses on my laptops anymore. But I like the Open Office suite, which is also free. And if you look at the word processor, so many people are afraid of using free stuff. But there you go. So this is actually, if you look at this, it looks just like Microsoft Word. You can type in there. Anything that doesn't look like Word, it has this text box in here. But you know, I found it under View, you can actually shut that off. Text boundaries, just shut that off and it's gone. So you don't have that in there anymore. But you know, you can do anything you think you would normally do. Sound and video. There's one drawback. I worked last night on that laptop I was telling you about, the Ubuntu laptop that I set up for a client. That an iPod just is very, very hard to set up on these things. iPod, I stayed up for 2.5 hours last night trying to fight to get the iPod to work. So if you have an iPod, you know, I'm not saying you can't run this. Maybe you want to play around a little bit and try to learn how to set the iPod up. And if you find out, or if you know, please email me or comment on this video. What I wanted to do now, though, real fast here, I can do it in just a few minutes. We're going to change this to look and feel like Windows XP. We're going to make sure the video is open enough here so you can see this go on. It looks like it's wide enough. I'm just going to click on my Firefox, which comes preloaded. So all this software is preloaded, folks. You don't have to load all this up and then go, wow, and I go, you know, like find Firefox and And Firefox looks exactly the same in Windows, on the Mac, or on Linux. And it works the same way. But I told you we want to make this look like Windows XP, so I go over here to the Google search, and I'm going to type in Windows XP theme for Ubuntu. And just like that, I come up with this first link here. This guy here is an amazing programmer, and I'll probably even put this link with this show just so you can get to it quickly. You just walk through this and he'll even tell you how to load it. He has a nice little video on here of how to actually install it. But we're going to download it here. So I'm going to click on download, and you're going to see that downloads work just the same way. We'll say save file as they do on Windows. There's your downloads. I'll clear that list. Now we're going to go into our downloads folder right here. We're going to right click on this just like you would on Windows, right? We're going to open it with the Archive Manager. So we're going to actually extract this. I'm going to hit extract. Into downloads, that's a good place for it. That way I can see it right here. Close, it's already done. Close this out. And here it is right here. XP GNOME or GNOME. Open that up. All we got to do now is right click on this installer, and we're just going to simply click on open, and we're just going to run it in the terminal. So I click on that. Gives you a little warning, this script's going to change your desktop, and it's going to close this up a little bit. Hopefully you can see this going on. It's going to change it to look like Windows. So yeah, that's what we want to do. You can already see, look, the colors are actually changing to a Windows XP desktop. It's creating the panels for us. It's going to ask for that password I put in earlier. It's going to say click on that, click on the local tab, unlock, and just close it. This is completely done. We can actually shrink this window down here and just close it. Close this. Now if you look, it's got the look and feel of Windows XP. I mean, this even looks like Internet Explorer. You can close that out. Here's my computer. Here's all your drives, just like normal. And close this, I'll show you that later on. Here's the start button. And then here's everything just like it normally would be there. You got the games, graphics, Internet, Office. I will show you just one more step on here before I break off this video and go to my editor and start putting this together. If you want to put one of these on the desktop, all you gotta do is go to Word Processor, you right click and add this launcher, it's called, to desktop. And here it is. So that's your Open Office. It opens very, very fast, folks. It's a very quick computer at this point. And then, like I said, I will show you some stuff later on down the road on configuration, how to download some software for Ubuntu. I'm going to load this up on what's called a virtual machine on my desktop, so maybe I can give you some more insight. But there it is. There you go. Ubuntu Linux loaded, installed on a computer. No more viruses, no more hassles. And it's absolutely perfect for the whole family. So that's basically it, folks. It's set up. Ubuntu's ready to run. It's now a secure computer for the entire family. And you can customize it just like you do Windows. If I right click on the desktop, I can go down to change desktop background, and I can use any pictures on my computer. So we'll just make it look kind of interesting here. Stick this one on there and close. There you go. So that's it. That's my Ubuntu install tutorial. Hopefully you use Ubuntu. Try it out. Go download it. Download the DVD, the ISO. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to burn an ISO image. Probably using Nero. Nero is pretty easy on Windows, and you can also burn it with a Mac here, and I have to figure that one out yet because I do use all three operating systems. So that's it. And hopefully you enjoyed this. Please comment in the comment section below. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube videos, this is just another facet of my my online training for you. Please subscribe. I'd like to see you see a subscription there. And drop me some emails. Let me know what's going on out there. And any of the questions I had through this video, maybe you can answer them. So until next time, folks, hey, keep that Ubuntu running. Keep that computer virus-free and running like a top. I'll see you back here next time on Jack's Tech Corner. Bye for now.